Super Earth is their home, democracy their creed. They are the Helldivers.
Welcome back to Toad's Professional Gaming. Like the video so that the algorithm gods can bless us. Alright, so here we are, comparing Helldivers 1 to Helldivers 2 to determine which is better, and for whom, a question that only I have been asking myself, it seems. But it's a valid one, right? After all, who doesn't want to know whether the game where you're more likely to kill your own team than the enemies is somehow better than the sequel that promised, well, more of that, but with even more gore.
Together for liberty! Together for liberty!
First up, let's talk Helldivers 1, the game that gave me a masterclass in how to accidentally blow up my own team. Because you see, the whole point of Helldivers is teamwork, and if that teamwork involves you hurling grenades into the midst of your squad and watching them scream in fiery anguish, well, that's just an added bonus, isn't it? The story? Oh, it's there, I guess. Super Earth needs you to spread freedom across the galaxy, and by freedom, they mean killing literally everything and anything in your path, from alien bugs to mechanical monstrosities, because nothing says liberty like relentless violence. The premise is straightforward and about as deep as a puddle, but hey, who needs a complex story when you've got guns that could blow up a small city, right? Now, moving on to Helldivers 2, which is basically the same, but with a few shiny new features and more bugs to shoot. The story, still the same. You're on a mission to spread freedom. Again, that means annihilation across the galaxy. It's got a bit more polish this time though, but it's not like you're playing it for the plot, are you? If you're here for a Pulitzer-winning narrative, you've come to the wrong place. Helldivers 2 doubles down on that whole shoot first, ask questions never philosophy, but with even better visuals and smoother animation, and of course a third-person camera. Because honestly, the last thing you need in a game about blowing stuff up is a storyline that'll make you think too much.
Enlist in the galaxy's elite fighting force.
Now let's talk combat. If you've ever played Helldivers 1, you'll know that the combat was equal parts frantic and frustrating. You get this wonderful system where you're armed to the teeth with all sorts of gadgets, but you also have to watch out for your fellow freedom fighters, because they'll happily shoot you in the back, accidentally, or so they say, or worse, drop a grenade on your head while you're fending off a horde of insects. It's an absolute roller coaster, where every mission feels like a dicey game of Russian roulette. 1 second you're mowing down alien hordes, and the next you're crawling on the ground, wondering where it all went wrong. Now Helldivers 2 doesn't stray too far from this formula, thank democracy, but there's a bit more finesse to the combat. It's faster, smoother, and dare I say it, more chaotic. The enemies seem more aggressive, the weapons more satisfying, and yes, there's still plenty of friendly fire to go around. If you thought your team was going to be any more competent in Helldivers 2, well, think again. The addition of new weapons and vehicles is fun, sure, but at the end of the day, you're still going to be trying to revive your teammates while praying they don't shoot you again. But here's the kicker, Helldivers 2 feels more streamlined. The combat is tighter, more responsive, and more polished. The stratagems work a lot better, but it's still got that same underlying frustration that makes you want to throw your controller at the wall. Don't do this. Which honestly is kind of a point. That's what Helldivers is all about. Camaraderie built on shared misery, and Helldivers 2 really gets that right.
Join the Helldivers.
Let's talk online play, because what's Helldivers without some random stranger ruining your perfect plan with a well-aimed grenade? If you've ever tried playing Helldivers 1 online, you know it's a hot mess. Players join, drop in, and immediately proceed to kill you, your squad, and possibly ruining the entire mission with zero remorse. But that's the charm. In fact, it's almost impossible to play this game seriously. If you're expecting smooth teamwork, you may as well go back to playing a single-player game, because here, chaos reigns supreme. Helldivers 2 though, it's pretty much the same. Sure, there are some improvements to matchmaking, and the game feels a bit more responsive when you're playing with others, but let's be real, this is Helldivers, not Call of Duty. It's all about that moment where your carefully laid plans go completely sideways because someone didn't read the instructions or decided to fire a rocket launcher into the middle of the squad. If that sounds like your kind of fun, then Helldivers 2 has your number. And now, the accessibility section. We all know how Helldivers loves to punish you and your friends with its difficulty. But what about those of us who need a little help? Well, Helldivers 1 offered some basic accessibility options, colorblind modes, that sort of thing. But it was nothing groundbreaking. You could adjust the game to make it slightly more playable for those with disabilities, but at the end of the day, you were still going to be screaming at your teammates for blowing you up. Helldivers 2, though, takes a few more steps in the right direction. You've got the standard colorblind modes, but they've also added more control control customization, and a few options for making the game a bit easier on the eyes and the nerves. The game's overall smoother experience also helps those who might struggle with a frame rate dip or input lag. But don't get too comfortable. It's still Helldivers, a game built for players who enjoy a bit of self-inflicted suffering.
No! Sweet liberty! No!
So which game is better? Is Helldivers 1 still the king, even though it's sold a lot less? Or does Helldivers 2 take the crown? Honestly, it's a matter of preference. If you like the old school isometric style of the first game, where a good day was defined by how many times you killed your teammate, then Helldivers 1 is still your game. It's certainly mine, probably because I'm older and have the reflexes of a geriatric sloth. But if you want a more refined or so-called AAA experience, where you can pretend to have a plan, only for it to go horribly wrong anyway, Helldivers 2 is your best bet. In the end, neither of these games is going to win any awards for storytelling, but if you're in the mood for some chaotic co-op fun, where the only thing you can count on is absolute mayhem, then you've found your match. So go ahead, suit up and get ready to blow up your friends in the name of freedom. You won't regret it, I think. Thanks for watching Toad's Professional Gaming. Like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments which of the two games you prefer. Are you a ripe gamer like me, or one of the cool kids?